a severe weather update from the First Coast's most accurate weather team, certified by Weather Rate.
Hey friends, I'm meteorologist Robert Speta. We are tracking a line of not quite severe, but still some strong thunderstorms moving over downtown Jacksonville right now here at 1:13 p.m. and watching these storms off towards our west. A few of them already have been producing wind reports upwards of 30 to 40 miles per hour, specifically into the Cecil area. Also, NAS Jax has seen some gusty conditions. Now this is tracking right over downtown Jacksonville. We just had training camp for the Jags get out a few minutes ago there. And at the same time, also looking at conditions heading out towards the beaches, Ponte Vedra extending down towards the south into St. Augustine. So let's track this together. We're also streaming live on our social medias, Facebook, YouTube as well. So if you have any questions, you want to ask them there, please do. And of course here on FCN Plus. So let's track these together here. Our goal here is to make sure you're staying informed and being smart so you can make proper decisions as we go ahead through this afternoon tracking these here. So, all right, let's get into it here. First off, I'm gonna make sure my camera, my computer setup here is all. That's a live look at the radar. I'm going to give you a little radar tour as we start off and people come online and we track these here together. And first off, a lot of lightning over downtown Jacksonville. In fact, our microphones are sensitive enough. You probably can hear rumbles of thunder over our studios right now. Actually, let's just take a look at this. This is the lightning count. About 80 lightning, 78 specifically, lightning strikes in the last 15 minutes over downtown Jacksonville. So it is going off here. And this is actually a live look right at the bank. The Miller Electric Center, by the way, is right there. Parking lot just got cleared out. Thankfully, they ended just before these storms arrived. But if we take a look, and here at First Coast News, we are situated right in downtown Jacksonville, as all of you know. So let's take a look at our live shot here from our roof camera, because what I'm going to do once it loads up here is swing it around a little bit looking north where we have the, yeah, this actually gives you a good idea that it is fairly windy out here. We're going to swing it around, look north, because you see right there, actually look at the palm tree blown in the wind right here. Yeah, but this, because the jumbo shrimp are supposed to start in 4 hours. Now, if you look closely, the blue mat right there, it looks like they got the mat out, so that's good news at the very least. All right, so let me see some stuff here. Let's go take a look at that radar tour as I promised you here. So here's a broader view. There's you go, looking at downtown Jacksonville. Got some cells coming in, pushing across the north side. In fact, all the way out, Sherwood Forest, kicking across the bridge here, I-95 on the north side of town. Basically, MLK Parkway is just starting to see those increase in the showers and crossing the Matthews. So if you are out here into Arlington, probably thinking, okay, I can hear the thunder, but it's not raining yet. It's going to be there in just the next few minutes. 295 extending all the way out towards east, or I shouldn't say East Arlington because that's a little bit further towards the north. Basically, JTB all the way out towards our coast here. Ponte Vedra also looking at the showers, and then we extend this down towards the south, heading out towards Volano Beach. Nocatee, already seen these move through. Now, this specific line is passing just north of St. Augustine. You did have a little cell that just kicked through a few moments ago. It's offshore, but yeah, A1A is definitely going to be a rough go right now at this point. Sorry, I'm still getting some stuff together here. I'm going to pull back the broader picture. Here's a look at this line of storms. Now, like I mentioned, no severe weather warning on it at this time, but we do have multiple special weather statements for winds upwards of about 40 miles per hour. We're even seeing radar indicated hail. That's not part of the warning, but I did see it a little bit further towards the west. The big issue is the lightning right now and the heavy rainfall. Remember, over the past 24 hours, widespread totals here are 2 to 4 inches. We even seen some spots upwards about 4 to 5. So the rain on top of already saturated grounds is definitely one of the bigger issues we have going on right now. Just pulling up this some of our comments. I see that we got a couple right now, so thanks for jumping on. Some of them are not even remotely weather related. Guys, this is a weather stream, so I'm going to make sure to delete these out of it. Let's stay on topic and make sure that we can try to keep you all informed about the lightning and the storms we have working their way across the First Coast right now. And let me know where you're watching from specifically so I can keep you informed and we can stay up to date together here on these cells as they track over our area. So once again, here's another thing. We have a flood watch in place on the First Coast. Let's actually pull up that real quick. As I mentioned, this is going to be very casual. This is not your typical TV weather hit. So if I go quiet for a second, deep breaths, it's okay, I'm still here. Your computer didn't freeze up wherever you're watching this on, or Roku device. You got your Fire Stick watching on FCM Plus. Got a flood advisory in place. Actually, it looks like for Jacksonville. This is until 4:15 p.m. All of these areas in green, though, that is the flood watch. That is until midnight tonight because of the heavy rainfall we had yesterday and this persistent precip we're going to see today with this training effect as this line moves through. Yeah, let's get a Clay, Duval, St. Johns County. I'm going to find a little bit more information on this flood advisory. Let's pull it up. All right. Ooh, I think I'm loading too much on my computer right now. All right, so here we go. Flood advisory in place till 4:15 p.m. due to the heavy rainfall. Minor flooding and low-lying areas, poor drainage areas as well, as we could see upwards of, well, it's 1 to 2 inches on top of what we already seen. Now, when we say flood advisory too for this area, I think our focus is on Riverside, San Marco, maybe like Kennight Drive. You often flood those classic flood-prone areas. In fact, as we watch this move towards the east, one of the spots I often personally see flooding on is the Arlington Expressway. Now, it drains out pretty quick, but the problem is when you get a lot of this rain in a very short period of time, it can start to cause issues in some of those spots where it dips down out here. So that's going to be moving off towards the east. Let's loop this actually over the past hour. Let's get you a good view. So we've been watching this storm for a little while now, coming in from the south and west, this whole line, all a part of this stationary boundary that is basically lingering across our area, continuing to create that instability. So here comes that line. Now, if you were out here in Baker County, Union, Bradford, even down towards Clay County, I know the storm's already moved through. Middleburg, in fact, got some pretty heavy rainfall for your location. Now that whole line, and you can see right in there that we got this gust front that's set up. And we can even take a look at velocity. Now, velocity is often used for tornadoes, but we can also use it to find out where these gust fronts are. And yeah, you can see one right here just south of the Shands Bridge. That's indicating about 17 miles per hour. I think we're probably going to have winds a little bit higher than that. Let's see if I got some notifications. Oh, okay. All right, we did just get a report of a power outage. Thank you very much for everybody communicating in with some of these comments. All right, so we got a lot right here. All right, so I'm going to try to read through here real quick and try to answer some of your questions because I did have one out of San Marco power outage, and you may have heard the lightning, the thunder over our mic here because there was a big boom here a few moments ago. So in San Marco, there was a strike. The power went out for about 1 minute. Carolina sending this in. Can we expect more lightning like that later today? We do expect waves of storms. So this is the initial one. As we go ahead to probably about 4 or 5 o'clock, I wouldn't be surprised if we do see another line start to bubble up, much like what we've seen yesterday. Now, these are arriving a little bit earlier in the day today. So as long as things clear out behind us and we get another round of daytime heating, I do anticipate us to see another round. But let's take a look at our future cast just real quick and kind of get you a good idea. Now, this particular model is not handling this setup the best, but it gives you a good idea. So there goes a line, and then we see some other showers kind of bubble up behind it there. Yeah, this really isn't handling, because this is saying that this first line arrives around 4 or 5 o'clock. So let me take that off the screen. This is why our meteorologists are here to answer your questions and kind of analyze these together. So what I'm going to do, Yeah, so basically, this is why we're here to analyze. Now I'm going to talk to my director real quick, let him know that the storms across the first coast, your lower third, is working. We got a lot of moving pieces right now, so trying our best. I'm going to pull up the HRRR, and I'm analyzing this right now with you guys together. Let's take a look at how this model part specifically is handling this line of storms. Probably a little bit better, but yeah, it does pick up on some lingering showers. I think as we go ahead in the next few hours, we're still going to see a couple more rounds of storms just because this is arriving so early in the day. So kind of answer your question, but did just get a report out of San Marco. Power went out for about 1 minute, and specifically in that area as well. You're going to be looking at that chances of flooding in your classic low-lying areas. I'm trying to pull up the rain accumulation, in fact, over the past 24 hours. Let me see if I got it. I have it right here, don't I? I'll get to that in a second. Let me try right there. All right. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to pull up our camera because I am being told that our tower camera is getting some pretty decent looking lightning on it. So you can just look behind me while I pull up some data here real quick for you. Just got a new push from the National Weather Service as well. Local storm report, 2 inches of rain in Ortega, Duval. Yeah, and also in Normandy, Mesonet site reporting 2 inches of rainfall here. So, whoa, that's our tower. That thing goes up pretty high. That is in the middle. Yeah, you can see the flashes right there. If this tower gets hit by lightning and this whole thing blows up, remember I am in the studio in the green screen. It feels like I'm just floating in the middle of this. Let's answer some of your questions. I'm going to go back to this while we're looking at this. Jack's Beach, Donna's in. I'll get to that in a second then. In College in 220 in Middleburg. Beth is out there. I think you got hit there a few minutes ago with some pretty decent storms. Everyone keep your electronics charged up, Greg says. It's a very good idea, Greg. Smart idea, especially considering the amount of lightning this is putting out right now, and yesterday, for that matter. Baptist and Clay, it is storming bad, Denise says. Thank you very much for jumping in there. Alex just says, it's crazy out here. Yeah. Hear it in Mayport. Paula, stand by if you're out there in Mayport. Let your shipmates know if you're on watch or you know any of them out there standing guard. They are going to get hit. Ooh, there we go again. This is right on Southside Boulevard, by the way. If you ever go on Southside Boulevard, you see those big communication towers there. This is us. This is us looking out, and I think this is looking towards Matthews, so we're kind of looking north, and it is just kicking off all sorts of lightning right now. Wild crack of lightning, Ryan says. Middleburg got a boatload of rainfall, Lisa says. That is an official report right there for you. Let's swing up our cameras, and I'm going to go a little bit further towards the east. Okay, here we go. 295 and Beach Boulevard. So it's not quite coming down like crazy there right now, but this is a good idea of what you're talking about. So this is all working its way out. Actually, I can see Topgolf right there. So this is working its way right into that direction. And then we can swing back towards our radar here and get you kind of compare that up. So this is right on 295. So that would be right about in there. Let's zoom right in on it. Wow. I say wow as from a meteorological standpoint and just a weather geek standpoint. Who said charge your stuff up? I second that. That is a lot of lightning out here right now. And this is something we were worried about this morning because we have just so much moisture in the atmosphere. We have this stationary boundary overhead. So yeah, we get those afternoon storms, but this is different. This is along a boundary, and you have this very tropical atmosphere, just a line of instability. We got that heat up to that heating of the day triggering this up. Look at that, 232 strikes in the last 15 minutes. It is going. So we had somebody just out of Mayport. Or Atlantic Beach is not really getting the rain yet. These areas, as far as lightning strikes is concerned, it's this area right in here that I worry about the most, because it's not raining yet. Once the rain starts, everybody runs inside. They're like, yeah, I'm good. But if you can hear the thunder out there, and people are saying they are hearing the thunder, yeah, you could still get hit by lightning. So, hey, this is from our friends at the National Weather Service. They're, of course, tracking this. And they're saying that we could see some strong winds out near the beaches, about 50 miles per hour possible, as well as potential, now hear me out on this, for quick land spouts. Land spout being a kind of a quick spin-up, tornadic type event. So let's see what we're talking about here. Now, first off, yeah, it's heading out towards the beaches right there. You can see this cell. But the issue is, and I wonder if I can swing a camera on, it's kind of looking at this from any of these directions. You know what? I got a good gust front view at Fort Caroline. Let's pull that up. And I'm going to do a quick little analysis here with you, friends. My phone's lighting up with all sorts of reports. Mesonet site in downtown Jacksonville, I believe that would be straight across from the stadium. They're probably talking about the one at the park here. Got a 42 mile per hour wind. All right, here we go. So let me pull this up, this camera view out at Fort Caroline. So this is right one of the gust fronts. So right about there. And this is where the worry for a land spout is. It's not in the rain shaft, so if it's pouring down on you, you're not really worried about it. It's this. You see this right about here? Now, sometimes when that wind's flowing out, it can interact with the warmer air out ahead of it, and that's when you get that quick, like, little poof. I've seen this before. I've seen this. I was stationed at Naval Station Mayport right here in Jacksonville, and I saw this once, a confirmed F0 land spout. Was not warned, but it was this quick spin up right along the coast as that wind and that gust front hit the waters. So these are the spots that when you talk about that, you kind of worry. And regardless if it's tornadic or not, these are, as I've been showing you, 40, 50 mile per hour winds reported within this. So, you know, it's not going to blow the roof off your house, friends, but it could knock down some trees. Could knock down some tree limbs, things like that. You don't want to be outside in this. That's the point. We all got, well, most of us who are fortunate enough to have a good house to be in and be safe, that's where you want to be. Or if you're out in the car, you're watching this maybe anywhere else, get inside the car, get somewhere that's stable, and inside of a good car, because the lightning, that's my big worry. This actually right here at Fort Caroline is a worry, because this is taken from a pier, and where I'm standing right now, you can literally go and walk out there and stand. And you might be looking out this and you're going, oh, that looks cool. It's not raining, but look at the winds, and you can see right upriver looking towards Blount Island. It is coming down. Very heavy right there. But this spot is at risk of getting hit by lightning. We've had multiple people getting hit by lightning over the past month on the First Coast. All of them taking place when it was not raining. And yeah, serious stuff. So just learn from the lessons of the past, right? So once again, back on the west side, let's say North Jack's approaching the airport, you got some heavy thunderstorms right in there. But I think our focus right now is on this line moving through Arlington and the East Arlington out towards the beaches, because there is a tremendous amount of lightning kicking up with that right now. Let's go back to our feed here. 42 mile per hour winds at that Meso site. Let's see if I can. Got a 46 mile per hour wind. Just reported at the ASOS at the International Airport. So that's just under the screen right about there. We got a 46 mile per hour wind with one of these gust fronts that just kicked on through. I'm sorry if I've been ignoring some of your questions, guys. I'm going to try to answer them all right now. So we got Middleburg, got a load of rain. I already talked about that one. What about Palatka? Palatka, this is north of you. Pull back the picture. So there you go, Palatka. Good news for you, it's all pretty much staying to the north because that's where that boundary is. The boundary is closer to the Georgia-Florida border. Yeah, you got some isolated showers kicking on by, and that's going to be the case as we go ahead through the rest of today. Same with St. Augustine, Palm Coast, but the real story is definitely out here over the course of the next hour or so into Jacksonville. These storms move on by. And specifically, I mean, we got a jumbo shrimp game coming up at 5 o'clock. Hopefully they get a break, although I still expect lingering showers even after this passes. The Jags training camp just got out a few minutes ago. I shouldn't say minutes. It's been about over an hour here. What have I got? I got something else going on. I got to see something real quick. All right. Okay. My house, I just got notifications that something was moving in front of my house. I was making sure that my flagpole didn't fall down. Last storm it did. We're all in this together, right? There's a good sign of it. So let's go back and let's zoom in on the radar here. Like I said, no severe thunderstorm warnings right now, but they are saying that we could be up to 50-mile-per-hour winds within this line right here as that initial gust front heads out towards the beaches. That is only 5 miles per hour shy of severe. So that's why we're here with you guys. We're not trying to hype this up. And that's why I'm trying to be as casual as possible with it, but at the same time, reiterating over and over again the dangers of lightning. And then on top of that, the chance of any flooding that we could see out here since we continue to have that flood advisory in place. Let's jump over to, it's pouring in Arlington, Merrill, and Cessary. Thank you very much, Jennifer. Lightning is as well crazy. Ha! Billy, our classic trending TikTok sound. Nothing beats a Jet 2 holiday in Duval. Jeffrey says, fell down. Oh, goodness, Jeffrey, don't do that. You okay, friend? I might have to order a John boat on Amazon to go anywhere on 103rd West Side. Yeah, I assume it's coming down out there for you as well. I mean, if we look at the radar right now, we can see that. Hold on a second. I'm not just texting people right now. I'm actually getting feeds reports in here. It's one of the ways we get reports, so I'm just checking and reading some of this stuff here, friends. All right, so let's go back to a broader picture, and I'm going to just go over things here real quick with you, friends, and we're going to talk about this. Okay, so let's go over this real quick. Once again, if you're just jumping in right now, no severe thunderstorm warnings in effect right now, but we do have special weather statements. Basically, that is the one step down from a severe thunderstorm warning, all due to this line working its way over Duval County, parts of Nassau County, even northern areas of St. John's, and even extending back towards the north, out towards the Okefenokee, you kind of got a line of showers. Behind us, we still have more storms that are building in, and this is the issue today. We got this broad front that is set up. Let's actually try to pull up the SAT-RAD so I can give you a broader view of things here real quick. Doing this usually we build this stuff prior to coming on air, so this is all on the fly here, friends. All right, so here's our broader view of the SAT-RAD, and you can really get a good idea of where this front is. And stretching back towards the east, and also, by the way, if you're just coming on or you haven't checked anything today, and I don't blame you, see this right here? That actually is a moderate risk of tropical development from the National Hurricane Center. They're giving that, a 50% chance. It is moving out to sea, moving away, but if you do hear us say that Dexter has formed up, that's what we're talking about. In fact, this is another look at that. This is from the National Hurricane Center as it loads up real quick. 50% chance right there. We're also watching another area right here for a 30% chance in the next 7 days. That still has like a week out, though, to monitor it. If it decided to make a beeline towards us, which that doesn't look like the case, it would still be a week away. So we'll come back to that in a couple days. But right now, that moderate chance, that's moving out towards the east. And now I point this out because it is all a part of this same kind of trough. You see that right there, the clouds extending back towards the west. That is bringing us that instability and thus the thunderstorms here on the First Coast today. So that is why we have that weather impact alert in place. And we do these. This is kind of a relatively new thing here at First Coast News. It's our goal to give you a simple, away as possible just to say it's going to be messy out there. We try to put these out days in advance to say, just say, yes, the weekend's going to be messy. Yesterday we had storms and heavy rainfall. Today, numerous showers and storms starting. When did our storm start in Jacksonville? Noontime. 12 to about 8 p.m. I still continue to expect passing showers, shelter from lightning. Obviously, we're getting, as you can see here a second ago, hundreds of strikes in our area. So yeah, lightning is also a big issue. Now these are going to be passing throughout the day and then eventually moving out towards our east. And then we start to get back on Monday and Tuesday into a more diurnal afternoon thunderstorm pattern. So we still expect storms pretty much every single day this week, but they're going to be more your typical run-of-the-mill storms over the First Coast type of setup as we look ahead later on this week. So once again, coming back to the picture here, a special weather statement still in place. We actually got a couple more reports of gusty conditions over Jacksonville. So as I'm showing you the radar, I do want to swing around. Let's take a couple more looks at, ooh, look at this. This is a nice shot. This is out at Mayport, where we're tracking this on radar, but I also want to show you actual images. This is out in Mayport. You can see the gust front right there on our weather stem camera. I believe this is right near the ferry terminal, the Coast Guard station right in there. Yeah, you can see that rollout coming right up the river there. Now, if we were to get a land spout or something like that, it would be specifically along this line where you have that gust front kicking on through. Not to mention the winds. Nassau County, somebody just asked, yeah, these storms are kind of heading out towards your way. I do think that they're going to lose their punch as they move further towards the north, but you're still going to be getting that rain here in just the next few minutes. Let's just look at the radar real quick. There we go. So see this? So there you go, just past. So if you're watching from Fernandina, Yulee, we can even loop this. Here you go. They're coming in your direction there, friends. Let's actually press pause on it. Let's get a good look at this. Whoop. Oops, wrong button, wrong button, wrong button. Come back. Click. Just like that. And you are under a special weather statement for all of Nassau County for these winds 40 to 50 miles per hour. Yulee, give it, I think even less than that, 20 minutes. Stafford, 3:30. Yeah, I'm gonna stress I think these are a little bit slow. I have to readjust that. But the point is, it's heading in your direction. That's 100% for sure. Let's go back to that right there, and this image here of Mayport. While I try to answer a few more of your questions, Rice says fell down, spilled tea. Oh no, Rye is having a bad day right now. Clay County, Suzanne. It looks like I already passed through you, didn't it? I did see some pretty rough stuff up Middleburg. We also just posted on our chat, specifically on Facebook, that we got our weather impact alert, a full article there as well. So thank you very much, Bryce, who's kind of taking care of the backside of things here running on there. So he's answering some of your questions and posting articles on there for you. Lori says, Jack, specious thundering and lightning. Yeah, thank you very much for jumping in on here, Lori. I appreciate that. Joe says, I left south side in Atlantic. It's pouring. I got to my house in Arlingwood area. It's not raining. That's Florida, isn't it? But it changes fast. So just make sure that as long as you hear the thunder, you're still going to get hit by lightning. I want to extra stress that. Teresa out there near JIA, thank you very much for jumping in from the airport there. Teresa, your area actually had a wind gust report at 46 miles per hour from the ASA station. So, it's not severe. You're not going to get blown away by 46 miles per hour, but you don't want to be outside in it. Tree limbs, things like that can come down. So I'm actually going to pull up our First Coast News Weather Watchers page. If you are not part of if you're watching on any of our social medias, by the way, and you're not part of the First Coast News Weather Watchers page, go ahead, type in FCN Storm, and we'll try to get you on there. I might not be able to do it right now. I'm a little busy at the current moment, but I will try my best to get on there and approve you here really quick. Actually, we did have some pretty good photos that have been sent in for our weather watchers. So if you go there, you can see those photos. I'm going to leave that up to you guys. Let's go and change this camera behind me here because this is the Mayport look. And I did get somebody saying, out in the beaches. It's starting to come down out that way. Actually, I got a live look out at, this is Neptune Beach. Ooh. Oh, here we go. We got the Dames Point Bridge here as well. Thank you very much, Danae, upstairs for pulling this up. Yeah, that's no good. That's between NAS Jax and, of course, heading out towards Mandarin. And yeah, it's a slow go. The good news, it looks like everybody's slowing. Oh yeah, you see that occasional just like flicker? That's a lightning bolt that's getting picked up here. And Danny, you want to come back to our weather graphics? I can show you. This is out at Neptune Beach. You have the cloud right there, shelf cloud. It looks like it's moving out. Kind of see the grass blowing in the wind there. Looks like crews are also out there. I can only guess what they're doing is saying, hey, get off the beach. Good job, guys. That's their job. Make sure everybody's staying safe out here. All right, I'm going to pull back the camera. Let's actually swing it around, swing our tower camera around, see what we can see at the moment. Just give me one moment. I'll pull it around, and Danae upstairs, if you see anything good on traffic cameras, let me know as well here. But I'm going to swing our camera around and just get a good look. You know, I should have actually pulled up the, I'm gonna hit play on this real quick. And then I'll come back and answer some of your questions. But once again, hey, if you're jumping in while I'm working on this, remember we do have a special weather statement over Jacksonville. It's not severe, but it's not pleasant out there either. We're getting a lot of lightning strikes with it. In fact, this is looking, now I believe I'm looking east out towards the beaches. This is from our camera out at, there we go. Yeah, that should be looking east towards the beaches. So yeah, you can kind of see the base of the cloud right in there. Got the rain shaft right in there. So that's starting to continue to work off toward the east. And I'll see if, while you have that up, we're looking east right now. And now let's look at the radar. Kind of match this up to where we are and where we're looking. So look at all that lightning. So our camera is right about in there, and we're looking east. So what I might do is swing it a little bit northeast because there's a lot of lightning. This is basically hard to tell. Almost approaching Fort Caroline. Right there is 290. No, that is the river. Oh goodness, this is hard to tell specifically because there's just so much lightning and rain on it. So I'm going to zoom in on the picture. Let's get a better view. Here we go. Get out of here, arrows. I don't need you anymore. Okay, there we go. Yellow Bluff, Beacon Hills, McCormick, heading out towards Mayport, the Dames Point Bridge. Oh, I was saying, earlier you were showing the Dames Point Bridge, and I was talking about the Bucknam. I was confusing myself. I'm sure somebody in the comments has probably just pointed out. I just registered that. Got a lot happening here. I'm going to go over to the Dames Point. Let's see what we got going on over there. I think we're going to have some, or actually, a minute ago we were just looking at Fort Caroline. And I am interested because we have Mesonet night at Fort Caroline, and I just got a, oh, okay, throw it up on the screen for me. There we go. That's another look at the Dames Point. So yeah, coming right over there. 47-mile-per-hour wind just reported at KJAX just a moment ago. So that is the Jacksonville International Airport. Ooh. Also, we did have a station on I-10, 2.5 inches of rainfall in just the last few minutes too, so there's a lot happening. Let's go back to, so I'm going to actually pull up Fort Caroline. So I'm going to try to pull up the, oh, can you come back to the radar? Thank you. So we got Monument, Fort Caroline would be right about in here, and there's your gust front, all that lightning running right up river. So what I'm going to do is hit this button right there, and that's what it looks like. And you can just see the sheets of rain coming on through. This is the spot where the max wind gusts from these storms are felt. It's not in the exact rain shaft itself. It's that gust front when that cool air is basically getting thrusted out from the bottom of the storm here. And yeah, that's not pleasant at all. You got to watch these trees. Watch these trees closely here together while I kind of pull up some more information. I just saw a flash right there. That was interesting. Right over the fort. Be interesting. We did get some power outage reports in a few spots. And in fact, while I'm doing that, I'm going to read a couple questions. Near GIA, somebody at Mayport boat ramps going crazy. Jeffrey says, Jeffrey, I tell you, that doesn't surprise me. Are you out there at the Mayport boat ramps? If you can you comment pictures on our socials? No, I don't think you can. Check out our First Coast News Weather Watcher page. I would like to see that because that doesn't surprise me. That's a little bit further upriver. I'm going to try to grab the, before we switch over to traffic camera, I'm going to try to grab the Coast Guard. I can't really see that. Can you swing up that beach cam just real quick? I think you said it's a beach. Oh yeah, right there. There's out at the beach. So those showers starting to get out. The good news, I don't see anybody out here. There you go. There's another flash of lightning on your screen. A lot of people are saying a lot of lightning. A lot of lightning. Specifically, and this is a direct quote from Fredericks, this lightning is wild. True. True statement, sir. And I am not going to argue with you on that one. Let's go back to our Fort Caroline camera here. There you go. I'm going to sit on this one for just a moment because that looks pretty intense. This is right on the river at the Fort Caroline, of course, National Monument over here. It is just kicking across. I'm just trying to catch up on some of these reports here that we're getting in and, of course, answering your questions. We got a lot of people watching on multiple social media platforms right now. If you're watching, let me know some of your reports in your area. Of course, if you're being impacted by these storms at the current moment, I want to hear from you, friends. Let's continue to keep posted on this. All right. Just pulling some other stuff up here. You can pull up any other traffic cameras behind me if you want, but I'm going to go back to the radar right now, though. Oh, never mind. So we're at I-95 in University. So this is basically, yeah, I-95 University. I think the worst of the weather is specifically pushed back past that area. Let's actually go back to the radar and you can see what I'm talking about. So let's go back towards the west here. I'm going to get rid of this arrow. So yeah, you kind of see where I-95 is right there, University. So we're talking about right about in that area. So a lot of this is work towards the east. So what we want to be looking for is traffic cameras right now from probably the Dames Point's getting the worst of it, or on the north side heading out towards Nassau County. Let's pull back this picture because this whole line is kind of working out towards the coast. And whew, yeah, there you go. This whole line, it is dragging in all this rain behind it, but the worst of the weather now just starting to, hear that? I think our tower just got hit by lightning. I'm going to tell you, it just went bam outside in downtown Jacksonville. I saw that flicker too on one of the screens over here. That's what caught me. Oh, all right. Yeah, right in downtown, we just got a big bang here. Yeah. Anyways, so out at the beaches, you can see where that line is starting to work. It's starting to move offshore. So once this initial line, I think this is going to be the worst of the day. I do expect afternoon, more showers to kind of kick on through, and we probably are going to see a few more isolated areas of storms here. But this is definitely the worst that we're seeing. Danae, I'm looking over here at this screen way over there. Can you pull up JTB? So JTB right here. That line, that's where we're going to pull up right now. Yeah, that's where one of these heavier storms are pushing right there, the intracoastal at this moment. You know what I look for sometimes, too, when I'm looking at these specific cameras, just if you ever find yourself looking at these cameras, you know what I look, is under the bridge, and I have a boat myself. I've done this before, just admittedly. Hunker down under there. I see people do this occasionally. Not the best place to be during a storm. Definitely not. Because that's where winds can get funneled. It can get dangerous, but people try to get out of the rain. This is a live look at JTB. This is looking east towards the beaches there. So Ponte Vedra being right in there. Let's stay on it just for a moment more. Let's see if we can get any good flashes of lightning coming over that, because that one's putting out a lot of lightning right now. Let's go back to the radar, actually. Let's come back. Take a look at this. Now what I'm going to do is jump over to our hail and just show you this real quick, because here's, actually, I take it back. I was going to say there's no hail being indicated on it, but it does look like there is. Yeah, right there. That cell, right over the Fort Caroline Monument specifically, and then of course heading across the Timucuan Preserve, Blount Island right there. Now this is only indicating like marbles, not less than marble size, but it is indicating it nonetheless, that chance of some hail within that. And anytime we see this, even if it's on the smaller side, it just shows you that the storm has enough updraft to produce that. So that's kind of interesting. Let's see if I can actually click on it. Yeah, pea size, it says. You see it right up there? Oh, I clicked on it. Pea size hail. Enough of a size where you go, is it hailing right now? Hold on a second. Ice is falling from the sky, and it's August. What happens when you get a really strong storm out here like we have right now? Here's a look at your cloud tops. The higher cloud tops indicated there in kind of those brighter yellows. And once you get up to those purples and blues, that just indicates the stronger cell. And moving right over Ponte Vedra, just Jack's Beach right now. That's where some of the worst of the weather is. And we go back towards our normal radar. We're going to come back to that real quick. Whoa, that looks like a Christmas tree. My goodness. Let's pull back. That is a lot of lightning. Let's pull back and click that. And what we're going to do, friends, is we're just going to take a quarry, 284 strikes in the last 15 minutes out of that. Over downtown Jacksonville, hearing the lightning still there, residual stuff kind of kicking across Arlington. This is all moving out towards Fernandina. So I just had somebody say a few minutes ago, Nassau County. What about Nassau County? Well, Yulee, it's already approaching you. Fernandina, next few moments, okay? The airport right there, so giving you a look at the image. In fact, I like this. Let's geek out a little bit here together, guys, because you're watching this. You probably want to be a little entertained. So what we're going to do is do a little side scan of the radar. Let's do a 3D box. Bam, right like that. And then I'm going to swing the camera around. Just like that. All right, there we go. So, if you're in Fernandina, this is what's coming at you. There's your shelf cloud right there. So you kind of notice that in our 3D scan, it's kind of cool looking, to be honest with you. But I say cool. It's still stormy. It's serious stuff, okay? But from a weather person's standpoint, there's the airport. So here's that initial shelf cloud. It's being indicated right there. See kind of it's a little bit flatter right there. That's where your gust front is. And it looks like it's coming across at this very moment. The intracoastal there, about to cross the bridge. And then, of course, you have the historic district about right in there. So if you're standing at the marina and you're looking across, you're definitely seeing it come at you right now. Let's pull back the picture so you can get a better view of what I'm talking about here. There we go. So if you're here at the historic district, maybe out over at the, oh, I thought my mic fell off, out over here at the fort, you're looking out towards the north and west, and then you can just see how those clouds rise right up. So this is going to change real quick. So what I'm going to try to do, I'm hoping that the scan comes around, and maybe we might see this jump up, because it's moving at a fairly swift pace. So while we're waiting for that, I'm going to see what we got. Oh, we got the Mayport camera. Oh, there you go. There, you just had that scan. And while we're doing that, can you flip over to the Mayport camera? I see that you got it up over there. Oh, there we go. So this is at I believe the Coast Guard station. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Going downhill there in Mayport, I'll tell you that. And while we're doing that, I'll try to read some more of your comments here, specifically on our Facebook page, where about 150 you are watching. If you're not watching there, you're watching at FCN Plus. If you're not watching there, you're watching on YouTube. So thank you very much for everybody streaming with us. Once again, if you're jumping in right now, by the way, no severe thunderstorm warnings in place right now, but we have these strong storms. They're not severe, but they are producing winds, which, 40 to 50 miles per hour. I went, ooh, of the lightning strike. Sorry about that. 40 to 50 miles per hour. There it is right there. And as well as these gusty conditions, 40, 50 mile per hour winds, as well as heavy rainfall is what I mean. 1 to 2 inches already been reported in this specific cell, on top of what we've seen yesterday. The issue is we're getting more rain on top of already saturated grounds, and that creates that risk of some flooding. And which is why the lightning is one thing, but we have a weather impact alert in place for today. We issued these several days ago, and we do this as a way to hopefully let you know at home in a quick, simple way that you're going to be looking at some messy conditions. Last Monday and Tuesday, we had those extreme heat warnings. We issued these several days ahead of time to let you know it's going to be messy. Today, of course, this does not supersede the official reports from the National Weather Service by any means, and we never would like to step on their toes. We're just trying to do our best to communicate to you without hyping things. That's not my goal, because I don't get paid more for more people watching here. I'm just here doing my job, hoping to geeking out with you guys a little bit. But my goal is I hope that we try our best to keep you guys informed and educate you. That's the other thing, because so many times do I see people going, they ask some of the silliest questions, but then I forget. No one was there explaining some of these things. So, yeah. So once again, a flood advisory in place for downtown Jacksonville due to the heavy rainfall around parts of Clay, Duval, and St. John's, north of St. John's too. And a general flood watch is in place that was until midnight tonight for pretty much all of North Florida, north of I-10, all the way out towards southeastern areas, all of southeast Georgia, because of yesterday's rain and more rain on top of that. So let's pull back the radar here and, yeah, looking out towards Fernandina Beach. There you go, friends, coming in towards you. Yulee, you just got hit by that gust front, now moving out towards St. Mary's. Cumberland heading into Jekyll Island. It's going to be there. You know what? Probably going to pass just south of you, honestly, with the worst of the weather. Let's loop this through real quick, get a good idea. There you go. So, yeah, generally right there. So it's kind of coming like this. So probably Cumberland, but heading out towards Jekyll. You do have one shower right there, but you're not getting that main line, but there's just this whole line of instability associated with this broad trough that's kicking overhead, kind of bringing in those storms. I see our meteorologist, Ross Mummah, just jumped in. Ross, no rush, but if you want to team up with me over there, Ross, come in. What are you drinking over there, Ross? I see he's got the coffee. Or
some good old Five Guys, man.
Five Guys?
Yes.
All right, there you go.
Also, can they hear me?
I think they can.
I am on yellow mic, if anyone in the booth didn't know that already.
All right. And it's fine for everybody at home. We're trying to keep this as casual as possible, not to hype things up or anything like that. And that's why we're taking questions like that. So if you hear some stuff behind the scenes, you're getting a little peek behind the window together here. But can you throw up that camera, Danae, out at Mayport? I'm seeing a lot of lightning kick off on that. And while we're looking at that image, I'm going to try to pull up that 3D volumetric scan. Sounds so sciencey when you say it that way, for Fernandina Beach, because this is a pretty cool little look of what it looks like coming at you right now.
Robert, I will say driving in, a little scary in some parts. Coming down like MLK right around Everbank. Hey guys, there was some like pretty big flashes of lightning, like almost right overhead, that the thunder immediately followed. And I haven't been in too many situations where I felt like, okay, that hit very, very close to where I was at. I'm not easily scared in those situations, and I'm not telling you to be so or anything, but there is a lot of lightning. Even though the heaviest of the rain and stuff has now moved east of 95 and downtown, you know, it's out towards the beaches, there's still a lot of lightning out there, so just be mindful of that. Even if you're going to be heading out on the roadways here soon, these storms are packing a punch. Even though we don't have any severe warnings.
No, we don't.
Just special weather statements.
Special weather statements, and I think that's one of the big things with that is since it's not severe, I don't want anybody at home to think, oh, it's fine. These are just below, and like you just said, a lot of lightning. I mean, we've been seeing these flashes kick off over and over again. We've had some big bolts in downtown. Our comments on our socials have been saying it's going. At one point, we had 250 strikes in just a course of 15 minutes. And as Ross just confirmed, it's kicking off out there right now. Actually, let's take a look at our radar. Can you jump over to this one right here? This is Fernandina, and I just want to stress this because this is just that initial gust front approaching the historic district. It looks like it just ran over the airport, and I would be waiting for a report from the ASOS site at Fernandina, because I'm sure they got probably a 40, 50 mile per hour wind. This is a special weather statement, by the way. You kind of see the line right there. That's the end of it. And yeah, the historic district of Fernandina Beach, if you are just standing right there looking across from the marina, that is a wall coming at you right now from this. So yeah, it is kicking off right there, just out towards Nassau Sound right there. I hope no one's out there at the sandbar in that spot or anything like that. We actually had a comment, Ross, here a few minutes ago, somebody who's chilling at the Mayport boat ramp right now who's just like, oh yeah, they are racing in. Like, good?
Yeah, rightfully so. I know at my apartment complex, there was a whole bunch of people having like a pool party.
Oh.
And they all were like running back inside as I was leaving to come in here. So yeah, if you had any outdoor plans, certainly head indoors if you haven't already. We talked about this yesterday, right, Robert? I mean, you know, we had a good round of rain and thunderstorms yesterday afternoon and evening, and you know, we both said shortly after lunchtime through the afternoon we were going to see another round, very much like what you're seeing out there in Mayport right now. Torrential rains. Certainly think the flooding risk today is probably going to be a little bit higher, just considering how soggy and saturated some of the, you know, the ground is, especially in locations that picked up anywhere from 2 to 4 inches of rain yesterday. I saw, I think it was like 4 miles to the southeast of Yulee, picked up over 4 or almost 4.5 inches of rain yesterday. And Yulee currently, you know, still seeing rain out there right now. So yeah, for a lot of our coastal areas now seeing the worst and heaviest of the storms, but we still got another chance for some more scattered showers and thunderstorms, even on the backside of this kind of whole complex. Doesn't seem to be as heavy, but I mean, out towards Valdosta, west of Lake City, Gainesville, there are still some, you know, some heavy downpours and thunderstorms around. So we're certainly still going to have to watch to see if those continue to build to the east and northeast.
I think that's one of the big questions right now too, Ross, is a few people are asking, are we going to get more storms today? And I would say yes, but I think this is the main show if you confirm that. Because because we do
for the metro, I think.
Yeah, for the metro.
For southeast Georgia, I think they have a good chance yet.
Yeah, because you still, I mean, we got a couple showers kind of kicking off around Brunswick and Jekyll, but this, as bad as it is, almost acts as a stabilizer. You get a lot of cooler air. But look out towards Valdosta, and you know, our actual trough is actually sitting right in there. So yeah, I think as we get through that daytime heating next few hours, they're still going to get some stuff back towards the north. But for the metro, all this lightning we're getting, whew. In fact, let's, do you have a clicker over there?
Yes.
Yeah, flip it over to yours. I see you got temperatures up there right now.
Well, yeah, I was mainly just trying to quick look at, you know, what areas. Actually, yeah, Danae, can you put Max in the monitor behind me there?
There we are.
Yeah, so Waycross at 88, Brunswick, St. Simons Island, mid-80s. So still plenty of heat and energy available up across southeastern Georgia. Now, clearly over much of Nassau, Duval County, you've had that rain-cooled air, those very heavy rain and downpours coming on down. So that's cooled us into the mid-70s. But there's still some energy to tap into right where, you know, that trough is that you mentioned, Robert. So I think if there's an area to watch for further development through the rest of your Sunday night, I'm pretty much thinking from Charlton County northward, especially, you know, Folkston, Waycross, Nahunta, Blackshear, they picked up over 2.5 inches of rain yesterday. So some good spots to still, you know, pick up some heavy stuff later on tonight. But of course, heaviest of the action still out there at the beaches.
Hey, I also just got a comment, and this is just a real quick, since we got, you know, a couple hundred people on here watching right now. I do want to jump over to this real quick, the tropics. I know it sounds silly, we're going to talk about the tropics real quick, but it also is tied into what we're getting right now. I'll be honest with you, because if we pull up this, there we go. Ooh,
okay, so they've highlighted
changed.
2. Yeah.
I got to update all this. This just came in. And somebody just commented and said, hey, Robert, there's a new blob off the East Coast. And I'm like, oh, check it. I apologize. I have, like, since we've been talking here, I have not seen this.
Yeah,
High chance.
I'll get to that here.
Oh, yeah.
Update them for you.
So, and this has also been upgraded, too. We got to update all our websites and everything. This just came out. We got an orange right there. Moderate risk right there. We have the low risk, ignore all of this because we're updating the graphics right now. And a high risk, I do think this would become Dexter, moving out to sea though. So that's the good news. And even if this did develop, it would probably be, actually some of the guidance has been trying to spin this up and kind of bloop it like that. I'll see if I can. And then we're going to come back to our local storms here, friends. But I just want to cover this real quick because this is all fresh stuff coming in. I got a my wide range futurecast here. Let's pull it up real quick. Let's get this out of date data off the screen. So that goes away. Now you see some of our models have actually trying to pick up on something right there. You see the swirl? See that? And it kind of almost stalls it out and tracks it back towards the north. I think that's where that low risk is being picked up on right now by the National Hurricane Center. And then on top of that, out there in the main formation area in orange here, that is a big change from the last update out here. So yeah, information coming through, of course, while we're tracking storms. Now, when I said it's all kind of associated with each other, this is what I mean though. So I'm going to go over to the satellite picture and show you this. So let's pull back, and right here is, actually this is, right here is our high chance of tropical development, right there. There's our low chance of tropical development, and all of this is associated with the same front/trough that it's extending just like that. So can you see it at home, friends? Kind of see the trough, that line of instability. So albeit we are not getting hit by a hurricane right now. That no one is saying that. We're not trying to make you think that. But we have all this tropical moisture and instability associated with this whole trough. And that is why we're getting the storms we got yesterday and we got today as well, and why we have a weather impact alert in place because of that. Now, what I want to do, though, is just really quick, take a closer look. Let's get all of this junk I just made off the screen. A closer look at the satellite, because you can actually see the swirl here. See the low-level clouds coming around just like that. There's our center of that convection. Now, two things I want you to take away from this. This is forming, I'm not surprised they gave this a high chance now. It's looking more and more organized, but it's also looking a little disorganized because we have a lot of dry air coming in, which shear from the west. So the bulk of the convection's on the eastern side of this. So it could go tropical, but it might go subtropical. Now, that's just semantics for us meteorologists. Point is, it's moving out to sea. Point is, if it gets up to that tight circulation with sustained winds of 35 miles per hour, or 64, excuse me. I got my knots mixed up, Navy guy in me. Then we're not going to, this could get named, is what I'm saying, Dexter. So don't panic if you see that. And you see it so close to the first coast. Please don't, and don't, the main thing is that it's moving away, and then we have this area here we're going to have to monitor, also potentially developing along said trough here. Ross, you got that all updated there? I see
yeah.
You want to jump over to you real quick, or are you still updating the websites? And all
I was
that?
going to update the website, but yeah. No,
all right, you can come back. It's okay. You know what I'll do? I will just flip over the graphic here like
there
that.
We go.
I'll talk about it. Ross, so check out firstcoastnews.com, Hurricane Central. We've been working on getting that web page useful so you can use it to track these storms and stay up to date when we're not, here available. So yeah, there's 20% chance in the next 7 days with this one, so it's not immediate. The more immediate threat would be this area out there. I say threat. More immediate likelihood of development. It's not a threat really for anybody unless you are a lost ship out there with a bad routing service. Also, 40% chance with this one way out here in the next 7 days. That's still like a week out. Still got a lot of time to watch it, but some guidance actually kind of pulls it north. Some steers it further towards the west as the Bermuda high kind of continues to dominate and kicks in with that. So yeah, that's fresh. For those of you watching the stream here, you just saw a little peek behind the scenes of our reaction when a new update comes in and we go, hold up, phone. This is what you'll see in the office sometimes, but you all just got it. So, hey, thank you very much. Who commented that earlier? Somebody did, and I said, yeah, just check the website. It was Sam. Sam, you win. You win all the prizes here today. All right, so Emmy says, hello, everyone. just talking about cancer for years, so sorry to hear that, friend, and thank you very much for watching this stream here. All right, so let's jump over back to the radar. Unless you got something to talk about the tropics here or anything like that, you still updating the website?
Yeah, just updating the website.
All right, that's fine. I'm going to go back to the radar here and kind of get a look around, and we're going to see where our storms are right now. Once this main line kind of moves offshore, we'll probably start to wind down this this whole live stream. But as this was moving over downtown Jacksonville, I wanted to get on here, even though it was not severe warned, because we have a lot of events going on. Jumbo Shrimp starting up here in just a bit. The Jags training camp was letting out. We're just trying to get ahead of this. And that's our whole goal, is to be here and keep you informed whenever we have these storms going down. So look at Fernandina is passing over there out towards Cumberland. Jekyll Island, you're actually starting to see some showers just around Brunswick too. This whole line, really kind of the initial line. I do think we're going to get more storms in the southeastern areas of Georgia, though, through this afternoon. We got a lot of cloud cover and almost, I wouldn't say stable, but a little bit cooler, just kind of as light to moderate rain over Jackson, extending back towards Baker County. But you look over here, there are more storms bubbling up. They may not be as potent as this first line with all that lightning, but still possible more showers this afternoon and the evening. This whole line passing off Volano Beach, St. Augustine. If you know anybody in the St. Augustine area, I do think you're probably going to get skirted here. Let's see where this, so we got a little bit right there. It is just off of the Volano Bridge. Let's press pause on this right there. So what I'm going to try to do is pull up the Volano Beach camera.
Yeah, it looks like that's the strongest storm
based
off radar.
What's that? The one at St. Augustine?
Yeah.
Right there. I'm going to try to pull up the Volano Beach camera as well here. Ross, you can take that about the storm here. I'm going to try to pull up some camera views.
Yeah, I'm trying to just pull up quickly the velocity. I don't think it's too worrisome. I'm not seeing a whole lot here. Let me switch it over to a
little earlier in the day. I saw some decent stuff near Middleburg, and at one point, the NWS actually said that we could have possible land spouts at Jack's Beach, but it looks like it has relaxed a little bit. Well, oh yeah, what do you got behind you here, though? Yeah,
well, Danae, I'm just going to walk back here quick. So if you want to switch to camera 9, you can. It looked like there was a little bit of a hook on reflectivity, but based off of the velocity, not really seeing that. Again, winds at the surface feeding up into these storms are relatively light. So as you know, Robert mentioned, the land spout is much more likely compared to an actual tornado trying to form. But some gusty winds out of these. I've seen reports that was about like 35 miles per hour wind gusts. Have you seen more than that, Robert?
Oh, you mean overall through today?
Yeah, just overall throughout all the
storms.
storms.
We had a 50 out there at one point. But yeah, they've been averaging, the max one's about 40 to 45.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, that'll be a concern, of course, as this heads towards Volano Beach, St. Augustine. We'll see if this builds a little bit further southward. Again, remember, there's some extra heat and moisture further south that, areas across southern St. Johns County that haven't seen as many storms. And that's kind of what we saw last night, too, especially later on in the evening. The storms were overall weakening, but they did continue to just gradually move further southward and build down into southern St. Johns and Clay County. So we'll see if that happens here with the southern extent of this storm. But the storm core itself, let me see if I can pull that back up.
While you're doing that, I want to just flip over to our camera. This is actually from the Bridge Alliance. There we go, right there. There you go. Look at this. Oh, and there we go, our boaters getting at it right there. The leading edge of this storm that you were just showing there on radar passing by. Yeah, this is and actually you see the ripples in the water really starting to pick up. Get there, John Boat. You're going. I'm hoping the best for you.
And you got all your friends over there in the bottom left-hand corner. Look at that.
Oh, these guys. If they're still chilling, we know it's not too bad there just
yet.
Well,
they had a late church service today, apparently. So they must still be in their service there. Either that or they're still having lunch.
Yeah. Hey, also, by the way, I see on your radar, is that a severe warned storm over in Valdosta?
Yes. Let me.
Oh, there you go. There you go. I can't flip over. I don't know if my clicker. There we go. There we go. So yeah, severe storm. That's the Valdosta area. You know what was interesting? Yesterday, the 24-hour rain totals for Saturday, there was a spot just east of Valdosta on radar that got 7 inches.
Oh my gosh.
Radar estimate, mind you.
Yeah.
But geez, and it looks like they got a severe storm moving through right now all the way out there. So I'll let you take away on this one. I'm going to try to look at some more cameras here real quick.
Yeah, well, and this is what Robert and I had mentioned, right, about some of the storms continuing to move and build into southeastern Georgia. So although this does not include our far, inland southeast Georgia counties, it's not, part of Columbia County or the Okefenokee there in Ware County, overall, this wave is going to be headed that way. So if you have plans here over the next couple of hours in Waycross, up in Blackshear, anywhere here, or, northern Charlton County, this is all going to continue to move off to the northeast. And you can kind of see that here with the overall storm motion. So meanwhile, the rain and the storms themselves have kind of transitioned into more of just a moderate, steady rain in downtown Jax. Further off to the west and northwest, that's really where we're going to be watching through the rest of tonight. So if we're talking right now, worst storms, that's of course right along the coastline. But looking ahead to the rest of your Sunday, things will be a little bit more isolated and scattered around the metro area itself. But further to the north, where the flood watch covers a large portion of the area, and that's what all those highlighted green areas are. So flood watch goes until midnight. I'm sure Robert has mentioned that already. And we have a multitude of flood advisories as well. Yesterday we had like maybe half a dozen, 6 or 7 flood advisories that got issued, and I think we have at least 4. So there's one for Duval and St. John's that goes until 4:30. Another one for northern Duval and southern Nassau County, so that includes Amelia Island and Fernandina Beach. That goes until 4 o'clock. The ones over downtown, that goes until 4:30, and then another one that includes St. John's, northeastern Clay County and portions of southern Duval. That goes until 4:15. So the flood advisories over 95 themselves, not going to be too much of a concern here through at least the rest of this evening, but those coastal areas, of course, still seeing some very heavy rainfall. Have we gotten, I don't have Slack opened up yet, Robert.
Oh, what are you looking for? I got it up over here.
Have they mentioned any rain totals yet?
Yeah, they've been local mesonet sites they've been talking about. So basically, actually, one of our fantastic Mets over there just said a few minutes ago, another flood advisory issued for North Jacksonville, seeing rain totals up to 2 inches there so far.
Okay.
So that's just kind of a general look at it. I've been seeing a few local reports about 1 to 2 inches at mesonet sites over the course of 1 to 2 hours. So it's all about these short time heavy rains. I haven't seen over the course of the entire day. I can pull up the radar estimates here in just a minute to kind of give us a broad overview. By the way, behind me here, you can see the Flagler Hotel out there, of course the Lighter Museum, as well as a lot of these scud clouds. There's the marina here for our friends in St. Augustine. Starting to get that initial gust front kicking through there.
Yeah, so that's what it looks like on radar compared to the actual
well, there we go. So
visual outside.
I'm right about here looking west, so probably getting some of those scuds right there. Actually, I should pull up our Volano Beach camera, which is located right there. Let me see if I can get that up real quick, because there we go. Click, play out. I love how when I'm talking, I say things like click. So this is our Volano. That's still St. Augustine.
Is it coming up?
There we are.
There we go.
And there's Volano Beach just a little bit further towards the north, obviously coming down out there. You know what I don't like? Are those people? I hope not. I don't think, okay, maybe they're just signs. Let's make sure no one's out there right now. It does look like a lot of people in the cars there kind of watching this. Hopefully everybody's staying sheltered inside of it, especially with the amount of lightning this was putting out. The good news here downtown, I'm not really hearing it much anymore, so that's a plus.
There are some lightning strikes. I'll just toss it up there behind you. Still some lightning strikes at least popping up on radar.
Yeah, Fernandina up down the coast. Amelia Island definitely getting those strikes right now, crossing the river over towards Mayport, but looks like it's just starting. I think St. Augustine and Fernandina, kind of the hot spots there just along the Nassau River. Actually, you can go a little bit further up. Ooh, look at that too. You know what's kind of interesting? I bet you we're going to get another storm right there. Because you see what I see?
Yeah.
The collision of the gust fronts coming together.
Yep.
We're probably getting another good cell. But that's the issue with this. There's this broad area of instability. So we're going to see for the rest of the afternoon, especially in the southeast Georgia, where you really haven't gotten this big line of storms, is these more, like when this gust front hits this right over US 1, just north of Folkston, that is going to cause that to go boof. right up, just like throwing a gas on like a fire right there. You also can see where the gust fronts actually kind of fired up these storms right there, but these two coming together, I would expect maybe just east of Folkestone, west of Woodbine, or maybe just around your area. I would anticipate, give it about 10-15 minutes, we're going to probably see another storm develop right in that spot. But yeah, this is that's probably where the worst of it is right now, just passing around Fernandina. Actually, in just a few frames, you can see as this blows up just over Cumberland, you see how it just launches forward? I think associated with that gust front there, Ross.
And that's exactly what it did yesterday, too. Once these kind of hit the coastline, there was a very interesting just like surge northward right up the gust front, right up the coastline. And that's why we saw some of our heaviest rain totals from yesterday up across some of our, more coastal communities in southeastern Georgia. I know Cumberland Island, Sapelo Island, up towards St. Simons as well. I mean, most of them all saw over 2 inches of rain, if not close to 3 from yesterday's storm. So unfortunately for a lot of you, some heavy rain still headed your way here today, but at least for the time being, no, flash flood warnings or anything like that. So fingers crossed, those are not, needed and are not issued here through the rest of this evening. But of course, Robert and I will be watching it very, very closely.
Yeah, I just had somebody comment. I'll get your name right here. It was Dawn in St. Mary's. Said they are getting hammered right now in St. Mary's, Georgia. So just across the Nassau Sounds, just north of Fernandina, looks like it's coming down pretty heavy there. Just a report on one of our social media platforms. So yeah, thank you very much, Dawn, for sharing that here with you. And I'm actually going to try to pull up. Unfortunately, I don't have any cameras out of Fernandina. Hey, if any of you want to sponsor a camera in Fernandina, that'd be great. We don't have any. It would be nice. I do have a camera out of St. Mary's, and it's a GDOT camera, and of course, it's down right now. That's fun. But I do have a camera from I-95 I can show you just outside of St. Mary's.
I'll say I'll zoom in there behind you and switch it over.
All right. Yeah, so I'm going to try to pull up, I'm going to try to pull up a camera just around Kingsland area here. Boop. There we go. So yeah, that is I-95 just before St. Mary's. Just kind of a look at what's happening out there. So Dawn just jumped in and said, yeah, it's coming down pretty heavy right there. I mean, we go back over to your radar, you can kind of see that line of storms just edging, and you got that gust front just passed over you too. Of course, Fernandina is coming down out there. Not a lot of lightning in there right now, at least based on what we're seeing right here. So that's good. I think most of the lightning actually looks a little bit further towards the south out along Amelia Island for the time being. You're still getting plenty of strikes there. But
yeah, it does seem the lightning has come down just a hair over the last couple of radar scans.
Almost like this is kind of spread out. Maybe the overall cloud tops
has flattened a bit.
Yeah, so that's good. That's good news. And also it also stresses our point that southeast Georgia, a little bit further north, is probably going to be I mean, even this comes into mind, the severe thunderstorm out towards Valdosta. This is going to be the threat as we go ahead through the rest of the evening.
I think for the metro, I just want to head a little further south.
Ooh,
and you can talk about it. But yeah, there are just another kind of a broken line of some isolated storms down there. And of course, this is all going to more than likely head to the south side of the metro.
You can toss it over, Danae, if you don't mind tossing it over.
Yeah, I'm going to walk back here today. But yeah, right over Gainesville, western Putnam County as well, although areas just to the southeast of Palatka, also a few isolated downpours there. But all of this, storm activity and energy is still going to gradually work its way to the north and northeast here over the next couple of hours. So although the worst of the rain, at least for the metro itself, has now moved offshore, Robert and I have talked about it, or most of it has or will be here very, very soon, there are still some pockets of storms that can still sneak their way up towards Green Cove Springs, up towards Julington Creek. I got a lot of friends down there in St. Johns County. You're not out of the woodworks here just yet, even after the storm over Volano Beach and St. Augustine does move offshore. There are still going to be a few pockets of some stronger storms, some heavier rain and stuff like that, that could sneak its way in here through, through the rest of tonight.
I'm trying to pull up some cameras just north of St. Mary's right now, because I think I might be able to get a good look at a shelf cloud there. Actually, this one right here, just north of Kingsland. Let's see if I can pull it up real quick. You might, let's
flip it over?
Yeah, let's flip it over. Boop. There we are. Yeah, so your cars, it's not raining here. You can kind of see the leading edge of this storm cloud just passing over St. Mary's. So obviously kicking off towards the north here into Camden County. Out eventually heading out towards Glen. Our friends in Brunswick, you got some isolated showers in your area, but this is kind of the leading edge of this line pushing through there right now. Now, once again, I mean, the good news, if any, is that it looks like this initial line is at least starting to kick off shore. Of course, we have this bulk of heavy rainfall moving out there into Camden, and then of course that severe storm. So we're gonna have waves of storms throughout the day here. I don't know if you want to take a little break from this, Ross.
Yeah.
I see that you have the rainfall out. We of course will be streaming if there is a severe thunderstorm warning closer to Jacksonville, and if this does continue off towards the east, we'll probably come back online here. But I see you have that up real quick.
Yeah, can we toss it up?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so this is 12-hour radar estimated rainfall totals, right? So these are not exact, take it with a grain of salt, but there was an unofficial report of just over 2 inches, or just about 2 inches at Mayport. And that seems pretty in line here with what the radar is showing. So you're kind of in that purplish color that's in between that 1.5 to 2.5 inches of rain. So of course, you know, eastern Duval County, many of you have already seen over an inch, if not close to that 2-inch mark from the storms already here today. Similar story out the I-10 corridor. You're going out towards Glen St. Mary, Sanderson out in Baker County, likely close to 2 inches there as well. That's an area that saw a good bit of rain yesterday. I don't know if I have it here, and I hope you didn't already update this. These were just rain totals from yesterday that I had. Yeah, so Glen St. Mary, they totaled
Which
just
one? I haven't touched. You talking about you had your rain totals from yesterday?
Yeah. So Glen St. Mary
go.
there in Baker County already saw 3 inches. So through the whole weekend, you might already have had 4, if not 5 inches of rain. Let me head back to the precip totals here quick though. And again, these are just 12-hour rainfall estimates. So anything that has fallen today, Fernandina Beach, went the wrong way there. Fernandina Beach. You're also kind of in that 1 to 2 inch rain so far here. You still have some heavy rain coming down. So I think the key here is, you know, we've already gotten a lot, and there is going to be more to come for our coastal areas, probably over about the next hour, I would say. And then, you know, for our southeast Georgia communities, you're likely going to have the best chance to see the strongest storms and heaviest rainfall here through the rest of your Sunday.
All right. Well, yeah, thanks, Ross. And hey, of course, going to track this here more. If we do have another severe thunderstorm, we'll let you know. This is just looking up and down the coast. All of our coastal communities are getting the showers. Thankfully, they are not severe at this time, but you know, that threat is still in place today. We have that weather impact alert still in place throughout the rest of this afternoon, heading into the evening. Don't forget First Coast News at 6. Of course, be tracking that, and of course, always streaming on FCN Plus. And if you're watching on any of your social media platforms, download the FCN app and have those notifications on. So if it does go severe, you will get that push alert. And they'll make sure you're staying informed, up to date. And you can geek out with us a little bit of weather. So, hey, thanks for the hundreds, it feels like, of people who have commented in our Facebook platform, too. You are all legends. Thank you so much. Got a lot of reports. We had somebody report in about a power outage in San Marco, so we're getting some of those reports from you. And if you have any more reports, check out our First Coast News Weather Watchers page. Search FCN Storm on Facebook, or you can use the Near Me function on the First Coast News app. It's another way that you can submit photos of the rain, of clouds, of rainbows, of damage, whatever you want. Some people send in photos of their dogs. They're really cute. We like seeing them. Okay? Anything else, Ross, you want to add?
No, I think you covered it.
All right. I hope you all stay safe out there. Have a good day, and stand by. We still got more storms possible through the rest of this evening.
Stay with the First Coast's most accurate weather team. Stay safe and informed. Download the First Coast News app now. First Coast News, on your side.